right. Are you ready for some pre-roll?
Sure.
Some banter before the video starts? Like, what's a good banter?
Ooh, banter. Banter.
By the way, Jerry, I fucked your mom.
That's a tip. What? No.
Banter. Hello guys, I'm Ryan Wright.
And I'm Jerry.
So today we're talking about Crimson Peak.
Crimson Peak.
When Crimson peaked and hit puberty. The positives are pretty much the same positives that everyone on YouTube, everyone on Rotten Tomatoes, anyone is saying this. The visuals are great.
Yeah. I mean, the movie is gorgeous to look at. The sets are incredible. I'm wondering how many of these are like constructed sets versus actual Gothic style homes or buildings, just because some of them do look very real and very authentic.
Well, I heard that at least the haunted home was built just
wow.
for this movie. Yeah, the haunted house has such a personality to the film. Another common thing, and it's what we said right when the movie was done, was that this movie's totally mismarketed. It's not a fucking horror movie.
Well, and Guillermo del Toro has said that a few times, I've found, since we saw it. Like, I saw some interviews with him. Yeah, he's like, this isn't a horror movie, it's a Gothic romance. Beware Crimson Peak's trailer.
This cat is so distracting for the review.
If you look at the Crimson Peak trailer, they really want you to believe this is a horror movie, and they put most of the ghost scenes in that trailer, at least partially. So that's very misleading.
And the thing is, they put most of the ghost scenes, and there's not a lot of ghost scenes.
It sets you up to think this is going to be like a Pan's Labyrinth or a Hellboy, where it's like, there will be creatures a lot, and there aren't.
It's more of just a direct human story about...
It's a Gothic romance.
About Tom Hiddleston and Mia Wachowski. Wasikowska. What is that? Some type of eel?
Is it Mira or is it Mia? No, it's a name.
Mia Wasikowska and Tom Hiddleston, they fall in love, but something is up with Tom Hiddleston. We don't quite know what he's up to.
Yeah, there's something dubious, it seems like, going on, at least, within the mystery of who he is and what his circumstances are, and the speed at which they develop this romance.
See, that's where I'm wondering, was this intentional for it to be misleading? First off, they do say in the movie, oh, I'm writing a story, but it's about the people, and the ghosts are just happen to be in it.
Yeah, Mia Wasikowska's character is a writer, and she's working on some kind of a novel, and it features ghosts a lot, and people keep basically telling her to shoehorn a romance into it, and that the ghosts are, horror, and she's like, no, they're more a metaphor for the past and stuff like that. She's trying to write a heavier book than women were allowed to write at the time.
But she even says, like, it's not a ghost story, it's just there are ghosts in it. And that's pretty much what Crimson Peak is like, too. Yeah. It's not a ghost story, but it does feature ghosts.
It's not about a haunting so much. Like, the haunting is circumstantial. It's like, those all still link back to the people. The people are more horrific than the ghosts.
There's more of a fairy tale vibe to it than an actual horror vibe, and I think that when it comes to the ghosts, that was he knows. One of the top things I was complaining about when I was done was like, there is no point for these ghosts to be in there.
I still disagree with that. I get what you're saying, and I don't like entirely disagree. It's like, if you took out the ghosts, I don't think the movie would be the same. You'd still need something else to go there some of the time.
Yeah, but I don't think it needs to be such a separate entity, like a supernatural thing, like something more natural and could have happened that led her to such events.
Yeah, I mean, these kinds of stories, like these Gothic stories, they're not always horrific or ghostly, but ghosts are at home in stories like this. I'm not upset that they're there. They're just so much bigger than the rest of the movie, and the advertising, I do kind of think the advertising has fucked us for this whole movie experience, because if I had seen it cold, I don't know if I would have this problem. But the trailer's like, fucking ghosts! Look! Oh, Guillermo del Toro design! It looks like a horror movie.
It's more like domestic violence as opposed to an actual, like, ghost haunting and attacking people story, Because that's not what happens in the film.
Well, yeah, it's not a haunting. Like, these are spirits that are trapped.
They're spirits. They're ghosts with personalities. They're characters. But I think it might be, maybe not Guillermo del Toro's problem. Maybe it might be our perception or preconceived notions that have fucked with the experience of this movie.
Yeah, like, I've seen trailers where I'm like, okay, bad trailer or poor representation, but I still get the movie. This is one where I feel like it's not even a quality expectation. It's like a content. It's like, I thought there were going to be lots of ghosts, and everybody thought there were going to be lots of ghosts, and everyone thought it was going to be a horror movie, and this isn't the kind of a story we get a lot anymore, especially in cinema. So I feel like the trailer has kind of fucked up the movie. I would have killed to see it with no trailer.
I don't even really remember the trailer that much, but I do.
But everybody remembers ghosts.
Everybody remembers ghosts. But the sad thing is like, although the ghosts are not necessary, they were still the most interesting part of the film to me when they were on screen. Like, yes, the scenes were scary with them, absolutely. There weren't a lot of them, but I was mainly intrigued as to more about them and what's going on with them, because the actual human tale that we get, I thought was very predictable, very obvious. The things that they shoot as reveals, like, I'm not sure if
I don't think they shot them as reveals, and that's part of the weirdness.
That my problem with it was everything was so apparent and obvious, and I felt like I was a million times smarter than the main character. I felt like I wasn't on this journey with her.
I didn't think I was smarter than her. I just felt like they gave me a lot more information, and then we're sort of watching her get all the way to the point that we are at. Like, yeah. Because the movie doesn't ever make an attempt to, or at least it didn't feel to me, to hide any of the things. That's why they don't feel like reveals. All the twists and sort of things that are things that are revealed about the true nature of certain people and certain situations. All the performances suggest these things. The movie doesn't ever try to hide them.
But it doesn't go out of its way to make it clear until the last half hour of this film. That's when, like, the reveals happen. Everything, the stuff where Mio, whatever, is like, what the fuck? Oh my god. I'm like, really? I knew that, like, 45 minutes ago, and they weren't even clear about it.
Yeah, we were starting to suspect things, you know, pretty early on. And the plot does move ahead in this weird way where it's like, they don't spend forever on one idea. Like, the plot, without giving anything away, it's hard. You know, the plot develops in a way that actually kind of makes sense, just getting from, like, point A to B to C to D to E to F to G, like, just in terms of this, the immediate story. I do agree that, in a sense, it's not altogether satisfying, and sometimes it's not engaging.
It's not that
for some reason.
A lot of the drama isn't that compelling.
Because it's like, if you don't make these things a mystery, we have to have something else to hold on to, because if we know where the story's going before it's gotten there, you gotta give us something else. Because I don't blame it for doing that, because you don't have to. And again, these are the kinds of things that happen in Gothic romance and these kinds of stories. These are the kinds of characters that populate these worlds. But we do, I think, need another thing to make it more thrilling then.
Yes,
like, or more engaging.
Like, don't get me wrong, I think the performances are really good. Tom Hiddleston, every time he was on screen, I was really interested. Yeah. He was fantastic to watch. Yeah. Jessica Chastain, I'm still not sure how I felt about her performance.
I thought she did a good job.
I thought
because
she
I've
was
disliked
a little too obvious. Like, it was like she was performing.
I thought it would go that way, but the more time went on, like, this is a role that's easy to do that with, and you'll always be teetering on the edge. The more time went on, I believed her performance of it, and so it didn't feel like too much to me. Because I've seen this role go, I'm evil, clearly, and she played it like she didn't think she was evil, or like she didn't know as an actress she was evil.
That's a good point, actually.
So I did like her.
Fine, Jerry, fine. And Mia, she was good too. I wasn't, like, captivated, though. I didn't really care to be on a journey with her. I was more interested in, like, let's get back to Tom Hiddleston. What's going on with him? She
does a good job, but she is a poor girl sort of stranded in this situation, and so the action of the plot doesn't give her tons to do. Most of the things happen to her in this movie. She gets swept up into situations. Ghosts freak her out. People are, you know, messing with her in various ways or telling her what to do, and she's sort of along for this ride. She isn't given a lot of, like, action till the end, you know, action to take. And I didn't really think about this until Chris Stuckman said it, but she really doesn't have much of an arc. I'm not one of those people who's like, there needs to be a huge character arc. I'm not, but when I watched the film, I'm like, that's probably one of the things that was unappealing to me, was the fact that there wasn't really a character change. Like, I didn't feel a growth really come out of this. I feel like she may have shrunken. I mean, it's that sort of thing where they talk about it in the movie, where, and again, I'm not going to give away the speech, but it's basically, instead of arcing, she almost forfeits certain things and goes that way and becomes a more, you know, descends. Yeah, it becomes a more passive character in her own life. The violence in it, there's some really gruesome violence in this film. Like, cringeworthy stuff. And I remember watching it going, okay, the first violent scene, I was like, huh. Okay. Yeah, it's very caught off guard. Yeah, it's caught off guard. Very realistic. It's effective, and it works. Yeah, it's realistic too, and then that's often stark because we're not used to seeing that.
But as the movie progressed, I was like, was there really a need for that? But then I'm so back and forth on the violence.
Yeah.
Because at times I was feeling like this is just gratuitous, it's unnecessary, I'm not even grossed out anymore. Like, especially in the finale when the violence really starts happening. Like, that's when, even in there, I was like, okay, that was a little too much. Like, I'm not even grossed out, I'm just like, that's too much. But then I also go back thinking about that first really violent scene and how that adds to adding an underlying horror tone.
Yeah.
Like creepy, suspicious tone, mysterious vibe throughout the whole film.
It hits home, so like you really care that somebody is brought to justice for this.
Yeah, and it's because and it's a real villain. We don't know who. It's like it shows you. It does remind me of Pan's Labyrinth when you see the bad guy in it like beat someone's face like just with the back of a gun and beat him to death and just pummel his face.
Yeah,
that's a great scene for me because I'm like that shows just the nature and how violent this villain is,
yeah,
and what he's willing to do to you.
And when they treat it in a realistic way, it does catch you.
Yeah, it irks you. It's not like enjoyable gore, but it's detailed and it's kind of artistic at the same time. It's weird. Guillermo del Toro's violence tends to still have an art even to the makeup design when someone's cut up or stabbed or hurt. In that sense, I did like the violence because it
always got me. I was always like whenever that happened.
I'm talking about it specifically that first violent scene because it added a layer of tension.
Yeah. Because
it's a big mystery as to who did it. Even though we all have our theories, we don't really know who did it yet. Even when they reveal it, it's kind of predictable. But but still, it's not. It does set up a good tone where you're like, oh shit! If this bad guy decides to kill our main character or someone we know, he's going to do it in a violent way.
It'll be gruesome. Yeah. It'll be bad. The trailer and the advertising emphasizes the things that are more spare about this movie. If it advertised it like a gothic romance, I feel like the ghost and the violent moments would all work better because we're not expecting them all the time. So then they'll catch you off guard and work, I think, properly.
Yeah.
When that first violent scene kicks in, you're sort of prepped for, okay, now things are taking off. And then we go back to what the movie's really about, which is the gothic story.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those movies that'll be much more appreciated down the road.
Yeah, once we can, get some distance.
The first time I watched it, my first reaction was, well, that kind of sucked. But as time has gone on, and the more I think about it and talk about it, I like it more and more.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's
because you get it more, right?
Yeah, you get it more. You understand what he's going for in hindsight. You know, Guillermo del Toro is an earnest filmmaker. He has a very genuine spirit behind his movies, and that does a lot of good for, thinking back. And, like I said this to you afterwards, I feel like this movie would work really well as a book. You know? It would be a great book. I don't think you even have to change that much. On the positive side, it's everyone said this, the set design is gorgeous. The acting's really good. The costumes are incredible. The ghost designs, when they're there, are breathtaking.
Tom Hiddleston seems to get a lot of praise, too.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston's great. It's got all the things you love about a Del Toro movie.
And when the creature, ghost things from a Del Toro movie are in there, they're still as creepy as ever.
Oh yeah, they're great. Those isolated moments are fantastic. That's the thing. There's so much awesome stuff about this movie. And it's just whether or not you're going to connect to the core, to the driving elements. And I just really like that something like this exists. I'm so glad he got to do this, and I hope it does well just so that he can continue to do this. Because even if this movie doesn't ultimately succeed, even if over the passage of time it's still not one of the best in his catalog, I'm still really happy he made it. I'm still really happy I saw it.
It still feels like it's the film he wanted to be. Anyway, guys. Rating time.
Rating time.
I give it 5 out of 5 nipple chills.
Do these ratings mean anything?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's my point.
Good to know.
You don't need a rating. Listen, I'm trying to hook more females into this channel. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna act like I'm not interested in them, so that way it'll get their attention. So yeah, if you girls are new to the channel, you can subscribe to The Real Rejects. If you wanna. Who knows? You could check out Reasons to Jerry. Like he cares.
I do care.
You do care. That's why you don't get pussy. And I'm on Facebook. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Vine, and Periscope. And I'll do a shout out to the ladies. What's up, bitches? Oh, I'm sorry. Were you offended? I don't care.
Oh, that's fucked up, dude. You're talking to...
Dude, this is how you get girls to subscribe. You act like a dick, Act like you're not interested. And because you're emotionally unavailable, they're gonna come after you.